Hi, I'm Dr. Toby Watkinson, your health detective. You know, I have a wonderful piece of property here where I can grow all sorts of fruits and vegetables and herbs and so forth. And many of the things that I grow, I not only use for food, but I also use for medicinal purposes. And one of the things that we have done with patients for years is we've created something called the lemon cure. And I have several lemon trees here. I have Meyer lemons and then regular lemons and so forth. And the lemon cure is an amazing way to cut short any sort of infective process you have that's brewing. And many of us know when we're starting to get ill, because we get that little tickle, that little sensation, I'm not quite up to par. And what we can do with this is we can go immediately to the store or to your yard if you live in Southern California or someplace where you can have lemons on your own tree. And I'll tell you what to do with them, and we'll be right back with that word in a moment.
You know, I was always curious when I looked at the research about ascorbic acid. It said basically our vitamin C, which is what the FDA and other people can refer to vitamin C, which is really ascorbic acid. And as I said earlier, it's not really the entire complex. But I was curious because it said if you started taking vitamin C, quotes, ascorbic acid, at the beginning of any sign of a cold or a flu, that it would, according to this research, shorten the time period that you were sick. And I said, I find that a little difficult. What is the mechanism that's doing that? And why I find it difficult is ascorbic acid is not really vitamin C. It's the antioxidant protector of the vitamin C complex. So it is part of vitamin C. But the body produces an enzyme that actually gets rid of ascorbic acid. So why would the body have an enzyme to get rid of ascorbic acid if ascorbic acid was the final answer? So what I started to do is I started to consider what were some options to this. What was the mechanism of ascorbic acid that was causing people who would take it at the beginning of a cold or flu to actually shorten the time period? So what I did was I started looking at lemon. Now, the British Navy are called limeys, and the reason they're called limeys is because they had scurvy. Ascorbic acid will not fix scurvy, and scurvy is a vitamin C deficiency condition. So they would give them a lime every day, and that would take care of the scurvy and totally did away with it, and it was because of the vitamin C deficiency. But I was curious what the mechanism was of taking ascorbic acid prior to a cold and shortening it. So I figured out that basically it is the acidity. So you take in an acid, your body combats that with an alkaline. You take in the acid again, the body combats it with an alkaline. And when you do that, going acid, alkaline, acid, alkaline, acid, alkaline, the bacteria cannot set up housekeeping. The bug cannot replicate in a pH that's ever changing. So what I've come up with is what I've called the lemon cure. Been using it for a lot of years, about 15 years. And what I do is I tell people to squeeze a fresh lemon and take a teaspoon every half an hour for 2 to 3 hours away from food and drink. Now, a teaspoon, you can easily use, you know, a household teaspoon, or if you want to get fancier and you're at home, you can actually use something that's a measured teaspoon. But you want to take this at the first sign of any sort of cold or flu. It'll work for allergy as well. It will work for headaches. It will even work for migraines. And switching the pH back and forth will keep these things from setting up. So say, for example, if you ate something bad has bacteria in it. And the way to beat that is by doing a teaspoon of lemon juice every half an hour. A cold is a bacteria setting up housekeeping. If you did this teaspoon every half an hour for a couple of hours, 2 to 3 hours away from food and drink, your body go acid, alkaline, acid, alkaline, acid, alkaline. Bug can't set up housekeeping. The critical thing is at the first intuition you have, and intuition's interesting because it only tells you one time. And then after that it says, oh, I should have done that. But at the front end it says do that. And if you listen to your intuition about something you're eating, or an oncoming headache, or an infection, this is the way to go. And just scoop that up and take that teaspoon of lemon juice every half an hour away from food and drink for 2 to 3 hours. And something else you might want to do is you might want to rinse your mouth. Don't swallow the water, but rinse your mouth to get rid of the acidity of the lemon juice on your teeth, because it will hurt your enamel on your teeth. But you can do it with kids, especially with kids. They might not like the taste of it. You can use a couple of drops of organic maple syrup, and that would actually sweeten it up a little bit. If they were reluctant to that, I'd make a very strong lemonade and give them a little drink of the lemonade every half an hour. Give them, you know, something more than a teaspoon, maybe give them a couple tablespoons. But I find across the board, in the 15 years that I've been using it, that people say, wow, that really works. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to make a YouTube video of it was because many times what they do is they get ill and they call me and they say, I think I'm getting something, and I have to write it out. And they said, now, was that a teaspoon? Was that a half a teaspoon? They get it all messed up. So now what I can do with this, I say, hey, go look at the YouTube video. But anyway, this is Dr. Toby Watkinson, your health detective. Tune into our website. We have a lot more interesting things on there than this, but you can learn, and we will have this on there as well. You have a wonderful day.